us if it wasn't that way.
Exactly. Just
Oh
as
my
she said,
gosh.
it wouldn't be us if we didn't start with laughter. Welcome back to Honestea Talks. I'm Ranjita Singh.
Hi everyone, I am Ashley Pena.
And today we are going to talk about beauty
Beauty
standards.
standards. I
Because
felt the wave of that.
in my own standards, I am not feeling beautiful right now.
And you so are. Oh my gosh. You are.
I
I
love
think that's
you.
why I love that. And I think that's why it's important to talk about beauty standards, because there are so many moments where we look at ourselves or we see what we're presenting and we're like, oh, this isn't beautiful, right? Like, oh, or we even have to apologize. I've noticed so many times where like I want to say a video or
Yeah.
say a video. I want to share a video or speak on my story, and like before saying what I initially wanted to say, I'm like, sorry for my hair, or like sorry I look crazy, and I'm like, why am I apologizing for the way that I freaking look right now?
Yeah, I've done that too. I'm guilty of that myself when
Yeah.
I was doing Soulful Sundays. Like, yeah, and there's no reason for us to have to apologize for how we look right now.
No. Oh my gosh, no.
No. This
And we're
because
taught.
yeah, we totally are. We're taught that. And what we're doing right now is we're live, right?
Yeah.
And when we agreed to do this show and start doing this talk, like we wanted it to be as raw and authentic as possible.
Exactly.
And I think that's the greatest thing about being live, because people catch the human in us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And when we look at what we are constantly shown on like TV or commercials or whatever it is, it's all planned, right? Yeah. And how many takes do they do? Right? Like,
exactly.
And it looks perfect. And it's like, that's not reality.
No, it
that's
definitely
not how it
isn't.
is. Yeah.
No. And then that makes a lot of people feel bad if they don't match up to that. But that's not their reality at all.
Yeah.
That's not reality. And I think that's why, excuse me, what we do is so important, and how we show up is so important, because if you show up because you naturally just got ready and you did your hair, then fine, you showed up like that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
If, like, I just showered, so my hair is wet, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have makeup on or anything. I showered, I put some clothes on, and this is how I look with that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and
I worked out. This is how I look after I work out.
Exactly, right? Like, you showed up as you, and as authentically you in that present moment, right?
Exactly.
You did what you had to do and you showed up, and to me, that is beautiful, and that's enough. And I think that needs to be shown more, because since we see so much of the opposite of that, we think, man, unless we say the right things all the time or do the right things all the time and look a certain way all the time, we're not enough and we're a problem.
Yeah.
But it's like, how are we supposed to learn and grow and love ourselves if we're constantly just showing that edited, like you said, or that rehearsed version?
Exactly. And it's funny that you bring that up, because they say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So one, your own self should be beholding your own beauty and learning it, right? And feeling it from the inside out. Yes. But it's so interesting to me in that, because I think I've told you before, for my own personal, I used to always do my makeup. I would not leave this house without doing my makeup. And when I moved to Aruba for medical school, the first day of school I put my makeup on, because that's who I was. And I realized it is too effing hot on this island for me to be doing my makeup every day. And the second thing I thought to myself is, I don't know any of these people. I have not ever met them. They don't know what I look like with or without makeup. So the next day, and from that day forward, I never put makeup on again to go to school. I was like, this is what I'm here for, this purpose. I'm not here to impress anyone. This is for me and to get my education. And it was interesting because it was on a more of a social experiment for myself at that time, because these were people that I had never met. So I was making friends, right? But then fast forward 2 years later, when I'm in New York, and I'm probably the heaviest I'd ever been. And I remember like all we did was study. If we weren't in school, we were studying. So I had like glasses on, hoodie, sweats, and I was like going to the corner store. And these guys started like hooting and hollering at me. And I was like this? Like, you see what I'm wearing? I'm in glasses and a hoodie and sweat. Like, what? So from that day forward, I was like, now this is geared towards dudes, like in my dating life. Like, if you can't appreciate this without the hair did and the makeup done, like, you ain't getting my time. That's a special occasion for you if I do my makeup.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. I feel like through doing that, right, through showing, because I think a lot of times people do the opposite because they're trying to impress.
Yeah.
But like, why is your true self, your authentic, natural self, not impressive? Like, who in the world said, right? Like, why are you not impressive as you are, right? Like, that's crazy. And truth is, to yourself, as long as to yourself you're impressive, and to those that matter, your true self is impressive, then why should you fabricate that? Why should you change yourself? And I constantly did this too. I think a lot of people resonate with that. And men as well. You know, like, it's not just something that women do. A lot of times people are like, let me present, whether it's for work or a relationship or even friends sometimes, social gatherings, family.
Yeah.
A lot of times people feel like, man, I have to present myself in the highest way, which people equate to looking a certain way. They think that that's the highest version of you is the best looking version of you with makeup, or you know, if you're a man that doesn't wear makeup, then the way that you dress, right? But it's like, you're not always going to look like that. And one day that person that you're trying to impress is going to see you fresh out the gym. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out the gym, fresh out of bed, fresh out the shower. And that's not how you're going to look. And what, they're going to just leave you then and there? Or that person's going to see you when you put on some weight and they're just going to leave you, right? Like, I think it's really important for us to present ourselves in all of it, right?
Exactly.
And if that means that a couple of days you want to get all dressed up and you want to look with some makeup, you want to, you know, get all dolled up, then you can do that.
Exactly.
And that's part of you too, but it's not something you do because you think that who you are naturally, or, you know, sweaty, who you are in every other moment isn't impressive, because it absolutely is.
Yeah. And that gets tiring too, like having to play that part, because you're not being true to who you are, or who, you know, you're how you were naturally born even, you know? So it's like, it gets tiring to play that role or that part. I
agree. And I think that something else that's important when it comes to beauty standards is being aware, right? Like, awareness is important for everything. But I think especially, right, like, be aware in all things. But I think especially when it comes to beauty standards and like societal standards of beauty, I think it's important to be aware of what standards are being pushed, because they change and they specifically push what they want to sell. So if you're not aware, you're going to most likely unconsciously, subconsciously fall victim to it and start buying things, changing things, right? Which we have all done.
Oh yeah. Or start wishing that we had that instead of appreciating what we naturally have. Like,
exactly.
Because I remember, for me, it's when thick women started becoming like a thing, right? Like J-Lo booty or Beyonce booty, right? And I've had this conversation with you, like, you all of a sudden you're like, it used to be about the boobs, right? And then all of a sudden it's about the booty, and it's like, shit, I don't have a butt. And then I'm looking at all these like curvaceous models and seeing, I'm like, oh my God, I want an ass like that. And then you start like, how do I get an ass like that? But then it's a whole process. And we, like you said, we all go through it. We all have something that we see and we appreciate and we want it. But we have to learn to appreciate who and what we have and accentuate that. Versus wanting something else.
For sure. And we have to also excuse me, be honest with ourselves about when we want something, where that's coming from. Right? Because let's say it's not a beauty trend and you're like, man, I want my leg muscles to be super big. just because you genuinely want to,
Yeah.
then do
Yeah.
it. Do your thing.
Yes.
Do whatever you
Yes.
want with your body, right? But really be truthful with yourself about where that desire is coming from. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times that desire comes from, like you just shared, when it becomes a trend. People
Yeah.
hated their bodies. They hated their curvy bodies, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
it's trendy, and now people are paying for curvy bodies, right? What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Right? Freckles. People hated their freckles because freckles was an issue. Gaps was an issue, right? Thick eyebrows were an
Mm-hmm.
issue. Unibrows were an issue, right? Like, come on. And then it becomes a trend, and now everybody's desiring these things.
Yeah.
Why are they desiring it, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to say, you know what? I feel like letting my hair grow, right? Or I feel like letting my eyebrows grow because
Yeah.
you genuinely want to, because you looked in the mirror and you were like, how would I look like with some fuller eyebrows? Or how would I look
Yeah.
like with longer hair? Or how would I look like if I cut my hair? That's a
Bangs.
desire that comes from the bangs. Exactly. That was a desire, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if that desire comes from everybody's getting bangs, I see it on TV, I see it on the shows, I see it on Instagram, and now
Yeah.
all my family members, my friends got it, I need to have it, right? That's the space where it starts to get unhealthy because that trend
Yeah.
will end, that beauty standard will pass, and then you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
stuck sometimes with something that you don't want to have.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. What do
Oh,
you think right now is something that's being pushed on us more and more? If you see
well,
trends or see,
yeah, I think so. Excuse me. I have disconnected a lot. Like, I don't necessarily watch a
yeah,
lot. So it's
same.
hard for me to know indefinitely. But something that I noticed that was really like weird to me was like, it started with the filters, like on Snapchat and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a couple things that I noticed for a while now that are pretty annoying because it really, people think it doesn't have an impact, but it does. Unless you're super aware, it has an impact. And even when you are aware, it has an impact. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to be very careful with these things. But, it started with filters on Snapchat and Instagram where like your lips are like double the size that they naturally are.
Oh, yeah.
And then your skin is like baby smooth.
Flawless.
Right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, no. Like, first of all, no. My skin is not this way. I look like a completely different person
Oh,
with these
yeah.
filters. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not fun or they can't be played for or you can't use them. It just means
Exactly.
that it starts getting dangerous and scary when you're not using the filter and you see your skin. You're like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
like my lips are too small.
Not
I
that.
need to get
Yeah.
bigger lips, right?
Yep.
And it's like,
I went through the
where did
lip
this
thing
come from? Yeah,
with those
isn't that crazy?
filters. I went through the lip thing. I'm like, oh, my top lip is thinner than I thought it was.
Isn't that so ridiculous? Wow.
No, but
I'm
it's
glad that you
true.
shared that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all affected by it in some way.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know what? One of the
100%.
things that tripped me out, someone had pointed out,
Right.
was before this pandemic started, Snapchat had those mask filters
Oh, hell long ago.
long before.
They did. Isn't
And
that
I was
weird?
like, oh
Goosebumps.
shit. Yeah.
That's foreshadowing. That's
Yes,
crazy.
major
Wow.
foreshadowing.
For real. Interesting. But
Yeah.
that's why, right? Isn't that crazy? Like when you
Yeah.
see especially when it's on your face, right?
Yeah.
Like your filters are not about other people, they're about your face,
Yeah.
right? So
We are our own worst critics.
yeah, yes. And especially if something, whether it be like the screen or a social media platform, is altering you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And saying like, whoa, like look at how that looks. You're like, oh wait, what does this mean that I need to be altered? Right? Because
Yeah.
wait, that's a bug.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't look
I just spit.
the authenticity is the best. I love it. But yeah, it's like even teeth. I've noticed like so many people, the rise in what is it called? Forgot the name of.
Invisalign, like the
No, no, the other one.
whitening, the teeth whitening, the light.
That too, but no,
Oh, what else
the
now?
oh my god, the veneers.
Oh,
So many people, young people. I mean,
really?
yes,
I
so
didn't
many,
know
even
that.
celebrities. especially to like reggaetoneros, like the, you know, the genre reggaeton. I mean, I played
Uh-huh.
it all the time with you.
Yeah.
But a lot of those artists, so they're like in their 20s, and their teeth were fine. Like their teeth were freaking fine. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Not that nobody's teeth is not fine. FYI, I'm not saying that like some people should get veneers. That's not what I'm saying. But like, you know, their teeth were not even like, okay, maybe they should get braces or anything like that, right? And then they get veneers. So that shaves their entire
Yeah.
tooth and puts on these
Yeah.
veneers, which there's nothing wrong with if that's what you genuinely want to do with your
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
right? Because this is your body. And I truly believe that everybody has the right to do whatever they want with their body.
Yes,
But
agreed.
you're seeing such a rise in it because it's a trend. It's now like a standard to have perfect
Yeah.
white, bright, shining teeth. And then it's like you look at those teeth and they're so perfect. You're like, should I fix my teeth? Like, are my teeth a problem? It's crazy.
It is. And it's funny. I feel personally attacked. No, I'm just kidding. Like the teeth thing I've gone through too. That's been a thing for me. Like
Yes.
growing up, I never had braces. My dentist had told me I should, but at that time, mom and dad couldn't afford it. It wasn't until
Yeah.
Devin got them that he was able to get them. But me, I never did. And I look at my teeth sometimes because I think I've told you, I've even shown it on videos before. Like when the light hits a certain way, it looks like I have a missing tooth because
Really?
it sits behind one.
Oh my gosh.
I think no, it's on this side. So this tooth, in certain pictures,
Okay.
if the light hits from a different angle and I smile, it looks like a dark spot. So it just looks like
Oh
a
my
missing
gosh.
tooth.
Wow.
But then I'll take other pictures and it's just like a perfect
Your
smile,
teeth are
right?
beautiful. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But it's something in my journey of self-love and in my journey of accepting me and who I am fully. That was one of the things that I would criticize about myself, that I had to learn to accept and love and be grateful for.
Yeah.
And realize like if and when I do want to change it, when I have the money to do so, I will, if I still feel like I want to.
Exactly.
But I have accepted that this is what I have. And that my glow up is coming from the inside out now. So
Yes.
I don't care what's showing, this smile is going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that is not what makes you beautiful or less beautiful. Your smile,
Exactly.
to me, everybody's smile is perfect. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? Even when I went to get like in San Diego, I was with you, but I went to the Smile Direct Club.
Oh yeah.
Right? They were like, "Oh, what would you like to change about your smile?" And I remember sitting there thinking like, "I like my smile. I don't want to change anything." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I went home and I was like, "Well, they're obviously they think I should get it because my smile is like, to them it's broken. So what do I have to fix within my smile?" It's like it doesn't matter how your current self is. If you compare it to other things, it's always not going to be enough. It's always not going to be enough because there's sorry, go ahead.
No, finish saying what you're saying. It brought something up in me about how we give our power away.
Yes.
In those instances when someone tells you something or someone asks you a certain question and you for a moment or even more than a moment think about it and let it start bringing you down, that's you giving your power away. And so that what you just said about when they asked you like what do you want to change about your smile and then you were questioning like should I be changing something about it, like I had that same thing happen in San Diego. I think I told you about it with the chiropractor. Like, I had gotten, I went to a chiropractor, I paid for 3 visits, and they did x-rays and stuff. And I felt totally fine, healthy, happy, like I wasn't having any aches or pains. And then they show me these x-rays and they're like, well, you have this, this, and this, and, like scoliosis and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I've never had scoliosis, like. Yeah. And then I get in my car and I'm like crying in the car, like, oh my God, I didn't know all these things were wrong with me. Like, what's going on? And then I'm like crying and I start driving away. And as I'm driving away, I'm like, wait a second. Like, how did I literally like, I pulled my power back because I was like, why did I just let this dude affect my mood based on these x-rays? I know I feel fine. you can have things that look a certain way, but if you still feel good and healthy, it's how you feel, right? So I'm
Yes,
like, I
yes,
know that I need to work on my yoga. I know I need to do certain things like
for
that
sure.
because that's what helps me feel better about myself and limber and good. And
Yeah.
I just let this dude take 30 minutes of my life by like telling me this is what's wrong with me and this is what's wrong with me. I'm like, F that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we do. We give our
Exactly.
power away when we think we have
Yeah.
to submit to what we're being told when that you don't have to.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. And you said something really important too. You said obviously we give our power away in certain circumstances, but then we can take it back. And I think
Exactly.
that that is why it's so important to be aware of what you're giving your power away to, because
Mhm.
these beauty standards are, they play on that. They
Yeah.
play on your insecurities by
Yep.
creating them, by creating
Yep.
them. So you might never have an insecurity, right? Like I
Mhm.
never, I had, obviously when I was growing up too, I was told that I needed braces because I have an overbite, right? But I never wanted them. I never wanted them. I was like,
Mm.
I don't want to get braces. My teeth are my teeth. They'll fall naturally into their own pattern, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna just be with them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're not keeping me from eating. Like I'm good, So
Yeah.
I felt more insecure about getting them than like my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I have buck tooth, and I also had a gap when I was younger. So I
Oh,
was like,
same.
yeah. And my dad had one too. So they were like, oh, you'll grow into it, like it'll be fine. So I was like, fine, I won't get them. And I was more scared of getting them because it wasn't Invisalign. It was like, the braces,
Yeah, yeah.
So I never got them. But even as I grew up, I ended up loving my smile. And so
Yeah.
I never really felt insecure about my smile until I was sitting there having someone say, you should be, you should change
Right?
these things. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? They prey on that because they make money off of that. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part about it. So it's normal to lose your power for a while, for a second, when it comes to
Mhm.
those circumstances and situations, because that's what is happening, right? When you're seeing your face altered and then it looks better and nicer to other people, or even your body. I remember when I lost a lot of weight, I was extremely praised for that. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
now I'm
Same.
getting attention from people, right? That I never got attention from. So you really start believing like, man, I have to be insecure about my body if it looks this way because it's
Yeah.
not liked, it's not accepted, and I have to change it. But that is where you lose your power. You lose your
Mhm.
power when you succumb to what other people think about you, because what
Exactly.
matters most is what you think about you. So
Yep.
you take your power back when you say, okay, so what? These are my teeth. This is my body, right? And
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to accept it first and
Yeah.
foremost, right? Before even getting to the point where you could say, like, damn, I love my body, but at least accept it as it is. And if I
Exactly.
choose to change something, it's going to be from an empowered place and from a place
Yes.
of, fuck it, let's
Yes.
change it, right? I'm in this
Yes.
body for a good time, not a long time to
Yes.
do whatever I want,
Exactly.
right? From,
Exactly.
from a place that's empowered and not a place of like, damn, I'm not enough. Let me change
Yeah.
this. I personally feel like that is not a good space
Mm-mm.
to be
That's
in and to
it's a
make
lack
changes
that
because,
lack mindset,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
And I love what you
man.
said about wanting to do it from an empowered place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've both been in the fitness industry, and for me, I had my year too where I was like on it and everything
Mm-hmm.
was showing up great and everyone was like, "Oh my god, you look good, like you're doing great." But then it wasn't sustainable for me
Yeah.
because I wasn't doing it. I mean, yes, I was doing it when I started with right reasons, but then it shifted
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, wait a second, step back. And now I'm at that point again where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, why are you doing it now? Well, because I know it's good for my body and I know
Exactly.
who I want to be. This is a part of who I want to be. So if
Yeah.
that means me getting up at 4 again to start working out, like it's because it's who I see in the future that I want to be. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
And what you want to feel too, right? Like I think,
exactly, exactly.
yeah, the huge thing about beauty standards is that it's very external. It's very
Mm-hmm.
physical. It's very superficial.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like it's okay to do whatever you want to do as far as aesthetics, if that's what you truly want to do, and if
Mm-hmm.
that's going to make you continuously feel as empowered as you already feel.
Yeah.
But if you are following these beauty standards because you want to be worthy, because you want to be enough, like you're going to be chasing so many things forever, and you're
Oh,
never
yeah.
going to get to this place where you're like, I'm worthy, I'm enough, because
Yeah.
there's always going to be another beauty standard that you
Mm-hmm.
have to change. So if your
Mm-hmm.
worth is tied to beauty standards and tied to external things, even if it's a person,
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's like infinite. You're endlessly going to be chasing something. And
Exactly.
I think that what you explained, right, where you were able to like pause and say, okay, like this isn't an alignment. Now I want to get back into movement. How can I do that? And why am I doing that? And am I
Yeah.
coming from a place of self-love and coming from a place of wanting to feel better? Or am I coming from a place of I don't feel worthy, I feel like I'm not getting love, I feel like I'm not getting attention, or I don't look a certain way that's
Mm-hmm.
acceptable to others, so let me start moving. There's a huge
Yeah.
difference in energy there.
Oh, yeah.
And I think sometimes people are not aware of that difference, and it makes a huge impact on your overall well-being, because if you're moving and you're on a journey or whatever you're doing that's
Mm-hmm.
changing you, right, physically, if you're doing that and it's coming from a place of I'm not enough, that energy has an impact on your well-being, right?
Yep. Yep.
And when you're
100%.
choosing to do something out of a place of I am enough, but let's change my
Yeah.
habits, or let's change my routine, right? Or I want to feel better when I wake up, or I want to be excuse me, I want to feel light, whatever the case may be of why you want to do it, but it's coming from a place of empowerment. That energy is totally different and has
Mm-hmm.
a super positive impact in your life and in your well-being compared to the latter.
Exactly. You said it all. Perfect. I 100% agree with you. Like speechless right now.
Yes. You're so funny. I can't. I love you. Oh my gosh.
No, there's certain
It's crazy, man.
it's interesting to me in my own journey of how beauty standards make me feel insecure now. Like I don't wear makeup often,
Yeah.
and part of it is because I see so many amazing makeup artists out there, which I think is incredible because it's art to me. How they can transform their
For
face,
sure.
but I'm still like contouring and all that kind of stuff and changing the shape of your nose through makeup. Like when I try to do things like that, I like, yeah, I get all dolled up,
Yeah.
right? And then I go outside and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's staring at me. Like I feel like I'm being stared at because I have all this stuff on my
Oh my gosh.
face to draw attention to it.
For
And I get
sure.
insecure with makeup on now, and which is a total 180 of like
Wow.
who I was before, right? And so
That's
beauty
insane.
standards now in that regard kind of freak me out
Yeah.
on
As
how
they
much you
should.
can
I mean,
change.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense, because I think what happens too is a huge shift that happens, and at least what it sounds like too, is that when you essentially become yourself fully, and like mainly that's who you bring to the table, and then you
Mm-hmm.
see this like dolled up version of you, which is cool, right? And
Yeah.
like you said, it is an art. Like when I do photo shoots and stuff, I'm like amazed at what these people do with my face, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's not what I see when I look in the mirror. And
Yeah.
that's not what I most of the time bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
It's not that person. So it definitely is like, whoa, I'm doing something else. It's like a much
Yeah.
bigger impact versus before it was like hiding, hiding, hiding,
Yeah.
hiding,
Yeah.
right? And then you show yourself and you're like, oh, this is so weird. It's so uncomfortable. Now it's the opposite. It's so trippy.
Yeah. Um, One thing that I love with the embracing of all different body types now, and especially seeing it in marketing campaigns,
Yes.
what I love, love, love is when I see um, women with voluptuous bodies, bigger bodies, wearing like crop tops and bikinis. And I'm
Yes.
just like, because it's still something I struggle with at
Yeah.
times with like my problem area has always been my midsection. So I do like, I would be lying if I said I didn't have moments of insecurities when I put a bikini on, even though I
Yeah.
did it when I was way overweight too. But like it's something about that feeling from inside out, like you said, right?
Yeah.
Like clothing, how you wear it is how you walk in it. It's how you feel from the inside out that shows that confidence, right?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
so it helps, I think, boost my confidence now when I can see these other beautiful bodies out there wearing these things,
Yes.
and instead of just the skinny women we used to see in the past. Like,
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
because that's a huge reason, right? Why that insecurity was there in the first place.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you never saw bodies that
Hmm.
weren't thin in crop tops and bikinis. You didn't
Yeah,
see it. So if
yeah.
you don't see it, that sends a message, especially you're not only not seeing it on TV or on campaigns or in the stores, you're not seeing it at home, you're not seeing it at the beach, you're not seeing it
Hmm.
at the gym, you're not seeing it with family, you're not seeing it ever, right?
Hmm.
And so your brain registers that as this is not supposed to be. Therefore,
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to do it because my body looks like that. They don't do it. I don't do it. Your brain does this
exactly.
for
Yeah.
you, right? It's not
Yep.
like you're consciously doing that. Unconsciously, that's the messaging that you're going to receive and it's going to be there. And unless you unlearn that and unless you start seeing that representation, you're going to constantly believe that you wearing it is a problem because it's unheard of and unseen, right?
You know how I went through the crop top phase. You were
Yeah.
there for it. Like I would not.
Yes. I know. And that's not your fault. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's because of years and years and years of conditioning
Yeah.
of certain bodies don't
Yeah.
wear these things. They just don't. If you
Exactly.
have, I mean, I grew up with, excuse me, even shorts being an issue. Like you can't wear
Mm.
shorts if your legs don't look toned like this, if they're not thin, if you have cellulite, you can't, there's so much messaging that we
Yeah.
receive.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important to have those beauty standards change and have that representation, because then
Hmm.
not only are you going to see like, man, look at them wearing it, like they're rocking it and they look great, I
Yeah.
can definitely rock it, right? Younger people are also saying that too. The people that are kids now get to
Yeah.
see that, and if they grow up having certain body types, they're not going to ever even think I can't wear that. They're going to know they
Exactly.
can, right? Because they see other people
Yes.
doing it. And we
Yep.
need that. Like if we don't have that, those visuals especially of like diversity, like true diversity, not just like, oh yeah, let's throw one curvy girl in here, but like
Yeah.
big people, bigger bodies wearing
Yeah.
the same clothes that smaller bodies wear. Unless we see that,
Hmm.
that messaging is not changing, and those beauty
Mm-mm.
standards make it impossible for us to feel safe and comfortable to wear whatever we freaking want to wear, whether it's a
Yeah.
crop top, whether it's whatever it is that you want to wear.
Yeah. That's so true.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad it's changing, but it
I'm
definitely still
very
has a
glad it
long way
is
to go.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. It all starts with you, like within you,
Yeah.
changing your mindset behind it. And especially if you want to see that change within your family. I remember growing up hearing
Yes.
those things, keep your stomach covered, don't show this, don't show, and things like
Yeah.
that. And that's a hard thing to do growing up in Sacramento because it gets hot here.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
But that's the same messaging that they
that's,
heard.
yeah, exactly. So what I love lately, the quote that's been going on in my mind is when you know better, you do better. And
Yeah.
and I think that's the phase that we're at when it comes to beauty standards now. Like we're starting to
Yeah.
know better, so we're starting to do better.
For sure.
What do
Definitely.
you think I mean, I kind of wish we had a guy on the show right now, but I would love to
I know.
know like that perspective for men, like what is it that men are insecure about based on standards
Yes.
that are set in that realm? It'd be interesting to have a guy on
Yeah.
here for
Oh my
that.
gosh. We should do this conversation again with
Oh yeah.
a guy or a few, maybe a few men.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw, but recently, you know who Jonah Hill is, right? From
Oh yeah.
Superbad.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
right?
course.
So I don't know if you saw. I love him. He's so great. I mean, he's way bigger than Superbad, but that's like the movie I think
Yeah.
that everybody will know of for sure. But he posted something recently, probably like a few months ago on Instagram, and I loved it so much. I love that he brought attention to it. I love that it was shared because we do see so much from women
Mm-hmm.
revolving around like body image. We do hear a lot more about it now, beauty
Mm-hmm.
standards and all of that. Like the conversation definitely is something that you hear women have and not
Mm-hmm.
something that you're often going to hear men have. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean at all that men aren't struggling with it, right?
Exactly.
Excuse me. And so he posted a picture of himself and he was wearing a wetsuit. That's what they're called, right? When you go surfing,
Uh-huh.
right? He was wearing a wetsuit and then just like the bottom half of it. So he was showing like his upper body. And he basically posted what like paparazzi had taken pictures of him. So one of the pictures that the paparazzi had taken, he posted on his Instagram. And he said, "You know what? For the first time, I wore I was topless basically, right? At the
Wow.
beach and on a boat in my 34 something years of living, like for however old he is, however young he is."
Yeah.
And he's like, and it was something I had never done growing up. He basically shared how he had never been to a pool or beach or anything without a shirt on, and that this
Yeah.
was the first time that he did it, and he did it, and it was captured, and he's like, you know, like fuck beauty standards and fuck what everybody has to say about your body. Like, I just want everyone to know that you are loved and that you're enough and you deserve to be in your body and in your
Yes.
skin freely,
Yeah.
right? Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not like specifically I'm just paraphrasing because he said it in other words, but
Yeah.
basically that's what he said, and I was like, oh my, I got goosebumps and I just felt like crying because it's
Yeah.
not something that you hear often when from a male perspective.
Yeah.
And they do struggle. I have family
Yeah.
members that still wear shirts when they go to the beach, men
Same.
that
Same.
have always done it, right? That have done it
Yep.
since we were kids and still do it
Yep.
because
Yep.
of the same issues that we as women come across: stretch
Yeah.
marks, cellulite, the
Hair.
midsection, like all of those things, hair, yeah,
Yeah.
all of those things that they were even picked on as kids too. Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
being with my cousins and having those jokes be passed around and making fun of people as if it was like funny when you're a
Yeah.
kid, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like the same insecurities that you have as an adult as a
Mm-hmm.
man. You know, I can't speak for men, and again, I think I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think it would be great to have them on here,
I
but
yeah.
I think it's important to really shine light on men that are talking about it. And the fact
Yes.
that Jonah Hill spoke about it and was like, I've dealt with this my whole life and I'm done. Like, fuck this. I'm gonna be in the skin and I'm gonna
Yes.
like show my body. That's amazing.
Yeah. You said it earlier. We have, what'd you say? One body?
One body, yeah.
No, but oh, I'm here for a
For a
short
good
time, not
time,
a
not
good
a long
time, not a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, how many years of your life are you going to spend hating the body that you can't get rid of?
Exactly. For reasons
Right?
that have nothing to do with you, too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? You
Like,
weren't born hating your body.
no, you explored it. When you were born, you were exploring your body. Oh, what's
Yes.
this? Hands? Oh, what are these? Toes? Right? Like, you look,
Exactly.
the first time you looked in a mirror, like, oh, what? Like,
Yes.
when you witness a baby doing that stuff, it's like you too were once a baby,
Yeah.
So it's like, remember those things. Remember you once explored your own body to figure out what it was. And
Oh,
this is all you have until you no
yeah.
longer have it, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
at least embrace it for
Yeah.
the
And
time being.
it will never not change. You get what I'm
No,
saying? Like
yeah.
when you change your body, and again, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying do whatever you want. But
Yeah, yeah.
if you change your body, it doesn't stop the aging process. You're
No.
gonna age regardless. Your body's gonna fluctuate. It's gonna change. It's
Yep.
normal. That's normal, and it's
Yes.
okay. And you should feel
Yes.
safe and secure and comfortable with that instead of afraid
Yes.
and resistant of that because it happens. Like I even recently a beauty standard that I struggled with. So I'm growing like a lot of white hair and it's like a surge now of white
Oh
hair.
my God, same.
Yeah. And
Since
it's like,
2020, I'm like, where did you come from?
isn't that crazy? It's like
Yeah.
a full, like wisdom really hit.
Yeah.
It really hit this year. Damn, like it's crazy. And I'm like contemplating with myself. I'm going back and forth, and I have been for months now because I've been growing hair since I was like 20, 21. Like
Yeah.
it's in my like family. We all kind of get gray hair young, white hair young.
Yeah.
So it's something that I had and I didn't really have much of an issue with. Even though like the first white hair I saw, I cried when I was young. I was like, oh my God. Like really for real cried.
Yeah.
Like, definitely. And then I was like, okay, you're being ridiculous. One hair here, one hair here. But now it's like
Yeah.
noticeable, right? Now I
Yeah.
have white hair. You get me? And especially when I put my hair up or I like
Yeah.
half up, half down, you see it. The stripes
Yeah.
are there, right? So that is a beautiful thing, right? But society is like, you better start dyeing your hair, girl.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm in this place where I've been contemplating going back and forth. Like, I don't want to dye my hair. I don't like I don't like the burden. To me, it is a burden. Maybe not to other people, but
to maintain
me,
it.
it's such a pain in the ass. I don't
I've
want to
been
have
on
to dye
that
my hair.
same thing these past few months. I've been on that same
Really?
thing. I'm like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Should I wait till 40 or not? You know? And so when I got my haircut, when I got the bangs, I asked my hairdresser, I was like, what, like, no one can see the top of my head because I'm taller than most people. So like I can hide it pretty well.
Damn.
I was like, but
Good
you're
job.
seeing it right now. I'm like, what should I do? And she's like, honestly, she's like, it's kind of under everything. So you're good right now. You don't really need to. And I was like, okay, thanks. That's just the little bit of outside advice I needed right now. So
oh my God,
hold on.
that's great. That's so great. And you know,
But
I find it
I feel
interesting,
you.
right? Because they said, oh, you're good for right now. Meaning, like,
Yeah.
when you start growing more, then maybe you should cover it. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want to hear. Like, tell me it's fine. It's crazy. Like, but that's a beauty standard too. Because
Yeah, no,
white
you're right.
hair equals,
Yeah.
girl, you're getting older. Right?
Yeah.
And that means you got to cover it because you don't want to be that person with, and it's like, why? I've been going back and forth really like, okay, if I don't want to dye my hair and I don't care about it, then why should I do it?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but people are going to say, girl, you got white hair. And they do. They freaking do.
Oh my God, they do.
They
Yeah.
come up to you. My aunt the other day came by and she was like, oh, I said hi to her. And then I went inside. Literally, I kid you not even 2 minutes solid. I was outside. I go inside later. My mom's like, oh my God, your aunt said Ashley has white hair. And I'm like, I wasn't even close to her. I wasn't even close to her. We didn't even
my
hug.
God.
Like, what do
yeah.
you mean? So it's like people notice and they point it out. And in situations like this, you have to really sit with yourself and say, like, this is a beauty standard. This isn't true. You just feel this way because of society and because of what you've seen. What do you want to do? Like, what matters to you?
Yeah.
And is it an issue for you?
Yeah, you have to mentally prepare. Like, you literally, no matter what stage of life you're about to go into or what you're trying to transform when you're combating the aging process, like, I think you personally have to take an inventory and coach yourself through it. Like, I literally, when the first few started popping out, I that's when I first started saying my wisdom is coming in.
Yeah.
So that was my personal way of keeping my power when someone would say something to me. So if someone did come up and say like, oh, you're starting to get grays, like, oh, that's a few more than you had before, you know, then I could, you know, yeah, my wisdom's coming in. Like,
exactly.
I had my own way of keeping my power and not letting the words of what someone else said affect me. And, but recently, like I said, in the last year, I'm like, holy shit, this is more than I anticipated.
Exactly. That's exactly how.
So now it's like a whole new level of like, okay, how can I get through this? Let's ask the hairdresser. And even then it's like, okay, I'm going to wait till 40 and then I'll reassess at 40.
For sure. Yes. And I think that's important. Like that those conversations with self, I think are so important because one, it becomes like something you can laugh about and kind of
Yeah.
even talk to other people about too, because you
Yeah.
talk to your hairdresser, and it turned into a healthy conversation, which I think is important.
Yeah.
But I think also having conversations with yourself and saying like, right now we're good, like let's get back to this later, let's not worry about it. Because for me, I
Yeah.
was there too. I was like, okay, if my hair was fully white, like let's say I went to sleep and I woke up and my hair was white, I'd love it. I'd be
Oh yeah,
totally fine with that.
totally. Yeah.
But it's the in between, the like,
Yeah.
you got like a patch of white, and then it's just uneven right now, and I don't know if I could do that for the next 10 years. Like I don't know. But then I'm like worrying presently about something that doesn't freaking matter right now. Like the
Yeah.
next 10
Yeah.
year, we'll cross that bridge, like you
When
said,
you get,
when we
yeah,
get there.
exactly.
Oh.
I want to do what you just said. Like once, if like more than, we'll say 30% of my head is gray, then I'm just going to make it all gray. Like,
Yeah.
like people do
Yeah,
that like
exactly.
silverish
I
color
love
now, or like, yeah,
Oh,
I would
that's another
totally do
thing.
that.
That's another thing. You just mentioned something important too. I was talking to my mom about this because my mom dyes her hair all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, my mom does.
And
I have to do it
when
for
the
my mom.
pandemic started, oh my god, that's a lot of. I mean, especially their generation, like, and before them, that's just kind of, they were really heavily like conditioned to do that.
Yes.
So when the pandemic started, though, she didn't dye it for like, I think 4 months or something like that. So it grew a lot, her white hair. So I was like, leave it. Like it looks so cool. But it would have taken a lot more time, obviously, because her hair is long. So it would have taken a long time for it to fully get white. So she's like, I'm not gonna have it like half and half. It's gonna look crazy, girl. Like, no, I'm dyeing it soon. But then I'm like, isn't it trippy how much we do things for other people? Because she didn't dye her hair because she wasn't seeing anybody. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, even for me, when I think about what I want to do, it's like, I don't want to dye my hair for other people just because of what other people are going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then also she was like, oh, when I was talking to her about how I felt like I was kind of like all over the place with the decision to make,
Yeah.
she was like, Ashley, people are dyeing their hair silver nowadays. Like they're dyeing their hair. Young people are dyeing their hair gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
And white. So just freaking leave it alone. And I'm like, it's so true. Even when you said like, it looks really nice. It's not a question of whether or not it looks good to have white hair, because it does look really nice. But it's like sometimes like the in between of like, I don't necessarily have all white hair or like dark hair. That's hard to navigate through.
I just realized when I was little and I would watch X-Men with my brother, like I always loved Storm, right? Because she was the darker one, but she had the white hair, Storm. Right? And I'm like, oh my God, I would be Storm if I colored my hair silver when I'm ready to do it.
That's a badass. Yes.
No, I was joking. I was teasing my mom.
I can still see it.
I was teasing my mom a couple weeks ago because she had just gotten her hair done and she got it freshly colored, and we were taking a selfie together and I'm like, you look younger than me now because your hair is colored.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, she looks young. She just laughed. She was like, oh, come on. She's still learning how to accept compliments.
Well, hey, that in itself is a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, but
it's funny
now,
because
what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying when I was younger and people used to ask us if we were sisters, it would just offend me like no other, because I would be like, do I freaking look like I'm 40 something, And she would love it. She ate it up. And now if someone says we're sisters, I'm like, if I look that good at 60, yeah, we're sisters. I only hope to look that good at 60.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because that's what I was going to share. Every time, obviously it's been a while since I've been with my mom consistently. Yeah. But when I was younger, and I would hang out with her, people would think that we were a couple or that we were sisters, right?
I remember you telling me the couple thing.
Yeah, all the time. Like all the time. And I would always be like, no, she's my mom. Okay? She's my freaking mother. and then be so annoyed. And then coming back here, now that I hang out with her, and of course we go into nature and stuff, and we're
Yeah.
always together. People, I kid you not, since I've been here, way over 5 people. Every time we go somewhere, someone comes up to us, because we're like friendly. We're, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Hey. We do that, a lot of that. So people are like, okay, well, bye, have a great day. Sisters? And I'm like, I try so hard not to get annoyed, because I also feel very honored that she is either that she looks young,
Yeah. Yeah.
or that maybe I look older, because I'm like, it better not be because I look older, okay? But then I'm like, obviously the fact that they see that we're matching in energy and matching in
Yeah.
age, I think that's amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm like honored, but at the same time I still get annoyed, and I'm like, no, she's my mom, and they're like, no freaking way. Like there's always a funny response, or they'll be like, oh hey mama, like they'll start
Right?
flirting with
Yeah.
her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's definitely a compliment, but at the same time, you as the child, you're like,
Yeah.
what does this mean about me?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep. Definitely know that feeling.
Yeah, I resonate so much with that.
Oh
My gosh.
man. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add or talk about when it comes to beauty standards?
I mean, we touched up on a lot of important things. I think I would love to have this conversation with
I
men,
agree. I agree.
because I think it is important to hear maybe like a perspective that isn't often centered
Shared. Yeah.
and shared. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think it's important to hear how they feel, because I can only imagine. It's something
Yeah.
that I've dealt with since I was very young. A huge thing for me when it comes to beauty standards, a little bit, is the fact that like I never knew about them
Oh,
until,
we don't.
right,
Yeah.
until we get to an age where people are like, this needs to change, like you're
Hmm.
too big, or you're too this,
Yeah.
or your hair is this, and you hear that so much that it becomes like,
Yep.
it's like the center of your life, like for
Yeah.
me at least, it was the center of my life. Everything revolved around like aligning with these beauty standards and being enough and being like received and accepted by other people.
Yep.
And I guess the thing that I would share is just understanding that that's never going to be enough. Like there's beauty standards are constantly changing.
Yeah.
So the second you follow them, they'll change, and then you're
Yeah.
going to follow them unless
Hmm.
you are aware, and unless you are on this journey with yourself and you're
Yeah.
aware of the messaging that you're receiving constantly. You're going to fall, unfortunately, victim to all of these ever changing beauty standards that are not there to
Exactly.
serve your highest good. They're there to profit off of you, whether that be the
Exactly.
fitness industry or the fashion industry, or any industry, the movie industry. I
Yeah.
mean, in every single industry, teeth, I mean, they're going to profit off of the insecurities that they are convincing you to have. So I really
Exactly.
just encourage everybody to be as aware as possible of what you're consuming, what you see, what you hear, and take everything with a grain of salt. Like if someone
Yeah.
comes to you and says things about your body and says things, I know it's hard to detach from that. Like it's something that I've worked on for so long,
Oh
and it's a
yeah.
challenge still.
Yeah.
But I really, really encourage you to understand that they're projecting those same beauty standards because they are conditioned too. So
Yeah.
you don't have to feed them, and you don't have to agree, and you don't have to believe them or adopt them.
Yeah.
And I think the more that you exercise the ability to be aware and to be like mindful of what you're consuming and what you're agreeing to and subscribing to, the better you get at not succumbing to these beauty standards that aren't there to serve you.
Yeah. I agree. And to end it, what my statement would be: one, I agree with you. I would love to have, I mean, if there are any men out there that want to be on the show in this
Yes.
regard, please comment below or send us a DM in our social media platforms. We
Yes.
would love to have you on here. Um, and I think as you learn yourself, create your own beauty standards. Like, just like I tell clients in the spiritual realm of, if something I say doesn't resonate, don't hold on to it. And so the
Yeah.
same goes for these beauty standards. try what you want to try. If you don't like it and it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Create your own beauty standards.
Yes.
See what helps accentuate you and who you are as a human being, and create your own.
I love that. Oh, that's so great. Yes, so many yes.
Everyone snaps now, right? When this is a All right. Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We love you. We will see you next Monday. Maybe we'll have a guest. Bye, maybe not. We will see.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't wait.
All right. Heart time.
Yeah.
Oh. I think we got it.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! All right. We love you.
Bye, have a great Monday. Love you.